Naomi was Ruth's first pastor.
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
But the job of the first pastor is get you to the second pastor.
Yeah. That's right.
You parents are your kids' first pastor. But your job is to get your kids to the second pastor, which is Christ.
Very good.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
There's two classes of oil in Matthew 25. Everybody, when they heard the bridegroom, oh boy, see, I don't want to preach. I just...
Come on.
Everybody heard the bridegroom call under the seventh dispensation. Everybody rose up. Whoa! The bridegroom's coming. But there's two classes of oil. The first class of oil runs out. It's only the second class of oil that brings you to your groom. Does that make sense? You understand? Everybody said, whoa, God sent a prophet. Whoa. But eventually that runs out. That should lead you to the second oil. The Holy Ghost is what that should do. See. And so we find out that true pastoralship is not creating a dependency. Like Naomi didn't create a dependency where she said, Ruth, you depend on me. Boy, Brother Oscar, now we're back at that topic you and I talked about. A dependency can look like love, but it's as evil as the day is long.
That's right.
Ruth was not an insecure person. She didn't need to be fed to somebody to feed the insecurity. Does that make sense? You understand that? Ruth was secure enough to be concerned about Naomi was secure enough to be concerned about Ruth's spiritual growth, and at a certain spot, Naomi knew she had to take her hands off. She was not an insecure person to create a dependency. And I'll tell you something else I've learned. People that think that dependency is love, actually, if you look at it, a dependency is very evil, because what dependency is when you have one person that's spiritually sick, and they find another person. It's amazing how they find each other's. Another person that's spiritually sick. And then this person feeds that spiritual sickness, and this person feeds that one, and boy, there's a strong bond together. You ever get between those people, they'll bite your head off because they think that you're destroying something. The point I'm making, if it's God's love, God's dependent on spiritual growth. Because if you love somebody, you want them to grow spiritually without you. Man, I wish I could somehow, I don't want to get down that road, but if I could get you. So often you have people or families or churches, you have an insecure pastor behind. Let's do it at the church level. I don't care. You can go any level you want. The point is, you can have an insecure pastor, and he has an insecurity inside of him, and he's looking to see if the congregation is insecure enough that they are dependent on him. Well, he's dependent on them. They're dependent on him, and they love each other, and they'll do stuff for each other, and they'll work for each other, and my goodness, look so tight. The whole thing is evil. The whole thing is evil. Because what the pastor's saying is, I'm going to keep you spiritually sick so I can stay spiritually sick so we can look like a church.
Very good.
Agape love is based on spiritual growth, not a dependency. The last thing I want is my church people to be depending on me. The last thing I want. And if I hang on to them and create insecurities and remind them how they need me and how they failed you and they need me and you can't go to heaven without me, I'm as evil as the day. You could quote scriptures and quote message and still be flat out evil. But Naomi, she had no insecurities. She pulled Ruth out of the world, brought her into Boaz's field. Let me idle there a little bit. Naomi didn't have to re-register the field.
Yes. Amen.
The field was already good.
Yes.
You know what I mean that way?
Yeah.
Because before Naomi brought Ruth to the field, what they don't know is the chief shepherd, before the first harvester got there, Boaz already went into the field and he grabbed that barley and he was going like this and checking to see if it was right. Boaz already registered the field. We don't have to re-register the message, man. Good night. You see what I mean? Boaz has already been here. This is his field. This is certified seed. And Naomi doesn't go and check to see if the field is good for Ruth to come into. Are you kidding? You're going to go and register this message? Are you kidding to me? That'd be like that little lamb trying to protect the lion.
Can you imagine?
Give me a break. The lion don't need protecting.
Yeah. That's good. Amen.